Great Northwoods to the Rockbound Coast and streaming live in HD worldwide at foxbangor.com. More people choose Good Morning Maine.
Hello, everyone. Coming up on Good Morning Maine, new details have emerged following the sudden passing of the Skowhegan town manager. We'll have the details coming up.
Plus, nurses at Northern Light Eastern Maine Medical Center celebrated the end of their contract negotiations. We'll have that story ahead as well.
And supporters of the State House at the State House celebrate Agricultural Day, which aims to strengthen Maine's farming industry.
Good morning and welcome to Good Morning Maine. I'm Janessa Bishop.
And I'm Craig Colson. Thank you for joining us this morning. We'll have those stories and more coming up. But first, to check the forecast, kind of a messy start to the day. Mostly just raining here in the Bangor area this morning.
It is, yeah.
Just kind of murky, so you pay attention to that. Some areas getting a little like an icy mix, including up in Lee, where there's emergency crews have responded to it sounds like a bad accident there.
Gotcha.
They're saying it's all snow over there, so be careful as you're heading out for the day. Otherwise, it's going to be a mostly cloudy day ahead once we get through all this precipitation.
We'll turn things over to meteorologist Devin Biggs.
And thank you very much, Craig and Janessa. Happy Thursday. Your first weather forecast brought to you by Quality Automotive and Brewer. Experience the Quality Automotive difference. Reliable service and expert care that you can depend on. Call us to schedule your next appointment. 922-2043. Alrighty, let's get into things this morning. We have a small craft advisory that is up until Friday at around 2 p.m. along the coast. We are forecasting more active surf as we do move forward in time. In the meantime, we do have some rain and snow showers that have been developing this morning. We will see a transition over to some more rain as some warmer air moves in. The rain and snow will be tapering off later on this morning. As we do zoom things out, there's some more energy tracking in our direction. But again, later on, we will see the precipitation tapering off. Some more will be moving in later on tonight. So here's Futurecast. Again, we'll catch a break later on today, but notice later on this evening some more rain and snow will be en route. But look at Friday, a nice day will be on the way. Notice we will have some more wind today, up to around 15-20 miles per hour or so, but it will be picking up not so much tonight, but tomorrow up to around 25 to 30 miles per hour. So hourly forecast for today, we'll have the clouds out there with the rain and snow chances tapering off. Temperatures in the 50s. Your full 5-day forecast is coming up. Craig and Janessa.
All right, thank you, Devin. We'll see you later on. New details have emerged following the sudden passing of the Skowhegan town manager, Nicholas Nadeau. Those details provided by the Maine State Police say Nadeau was under investigation for online sexual exploitation prior to his death. The state medical examiner's office says he likely took his own life. Brad Rogers reports on his alleged online involvement with a 14-year-old girl.
Maine State Police say its Special Victims Unit initiated an investigation earlier this month after receiving a direct report from the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. Police say the tip originated from a 14-year-old girl in Florida who reported inappropriate online communication with an adult male. The investigation involved 32-year-old Nicholas Nadeau of Winslow, Maine. According to search warrant affidavits of both his home and the Skowhegan town office, Nadeau is alleged to have had sexual conversations with the girl even after she told him she was 14. The 14-year-old also told police he sent nude images to her and got her to send explicit photos to him. According to state police, the investigation was in its early stages when Nicholas Nadeau died. Whitney Cunliffe, chair of Skowhegan Select Board, told us this is a deeply troubling and very difficult moment for our community. My thoughts are with anyone who may have been harmed. A close friend of Nadeau told us family and friends are in shock right now as they grieve his death. She says he was a smart, thoughtful person, dedicated to his job, family and friends, and always willing to help people out. Patricia Clement, who lives in Skowhegan, echoes those sentiments.
He was a wonderful guy that the selectmen were happy to have him. I can't imagine him at all being that kind of person.
It's a tragedy for everybody here.
Donnie Zalewski was sworn in this morning as Skowhegan's interim town manager. He also has concerns for the victim.
It's important that the information does get out, and it's important that we protect the families and any victims involved. It's heartbreaking all around.
State police say due to the death of Nadeau, the case has been closed and no charges will be filed.
In other news this morning, the Penobscot County Sheriff's Office says a heavy police presence on the Croghan Road in Herman yesterday afternoon was caused by a large-scale drug bust. The Sheriff's Office says they were investigating drug trafficking from a residence. And while searching the residence, deputies located approximately half a kilogram of combined illegal drugs inside the residence, including methamphetamine, crack cocaine, and fentanyl. 3 individuals were apprehended, and Penobscot County Sheriff Troy Morton says there is no danger to the public.
We executed a search warrant for drug investigation. Our office is going to continue to target those that are trafficking in dangerous drugs to our area. We understand that individuals struggle with substance use, and that is not our target nor our mission.
Chad Langley and Daquan Moore are both facing drug trafficking charges. Shelley Perry was also arrested and charged with failure to appear in court. Sheriff Morton adds that the incident remains under investigation.
The Penobscot County Grand Jury has indicted an Orrington man for murder in connection with the death of his 12-week-old daughter. 24-year-old Sean Samuels was also indicted on charges of manslaughter and violation of conditions of release. On January 16th, crews responded to a 911 call about an infant that had become unresponsive. The infant, Lila Samuels, was transported to Northern Light Eastern Maine Medical Center, where she died on January 18th. A state police spokesperson says an autopsy determined the manner of death was a homicide. The grand jury indicted a Bangor man as well for attempted murder after he allegedly attacked a neighbor with a machete. 24-year-old Zachary Wright was arrested on January 15th after police got a call from a man on Sunset Avenue who told them he was being attacked. Bangor Police Sergeant Jeremy Brock says when officers arrived, they located the alleged victim, who was able to disarm the attacker. Brock says the alleged victim had several lacerations on his head, and according to Brock, the alleged victim identified his attacker as his neighbor, Zachary Wright, and told police they had issues in the past. Wright was also indicted for aggravated assault.
Meanwhile, a tractor trailer loaded with liquid nitrogen overturned on Wednesday morning in Rockport. It happened on Rockland Street, which was shut down for hours while crews took care of the scene. Firefighters say the driver managed to escape from the truck and is doing okay. While the truck was filled with liquid nitrogen, the fire department says it was never explosive. The nitrogen leaked, but officials say there were no environmental impacts.
As we reported at the beginning of the week, nurses at Northern Light Eastern Maine Medical Center have a tentative contract agreement after months of bargaining. The vote on their contract was slated for last night. They also have the support of a Maine congressional candidate. Callie Warren with that story.
It's been a months-long battle for the nurses at Eastern Maine Medical Center to get what they say is a fair and safe contract. Now, that battle is coming to a close.
We have spent a lot of time, a lot of energy, meeting, talking, informing, educating.
Those nurses are celebrating the culmination of those lengthy negotiations. After unionizing and representing the interests of over 800 nurses, they say they're finally being heard by their employers.
It's huge for us. The medical center's team came at us really hard. It's huge for the team. It's huge for our membership. It was really, really important.
Though they say it hasn't been an easy task.
The threat of a strike is what got us this agreement. They were not going to talk to us on several issues until that strike notice was on their desk.
Endorsed by the nurses union, Senate candidate Graham Plattner was joined by nurses as he signed a pledge to not accept healthcare PAC donations.
When the hospital closes in rural Maine, it doesn't matter who you voted for. It doesn't matter if you're a Republican or a Democrat. This is not a Republican or Democrat issue. This is an issue of working people versus a system that wants to exploit them.
Nurses have been, for decades, right, fighting for safe staffing, for Medicare for all, and to have a candidate that embodies our values and is using them as his platform, it's huge.
That contract details fair wages, safe nurse-to-patient staffing ratios, balanced time off, health coverage, and more for nurses. The union voted Wednesday evening with the contract passing.
We know that we have some of that power, right? We can stand together and really put our power toward getting what this community and what our nurses and what our patients really deserve.
In Bangor, Callie Warren, ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
Agricultural leaders are backing a bill that they say is critical to saving Maine farms. Supporters warn that without it, rising costs and farm closures could push the industry past a tipping point. Our Alexa Kennedy with that story.
Wednesday, a coalition of organizations gathered at the State House for Agricultural Day, holding a press conference in support of a proposed bond measure aimed at strengthening the state's farming industry. The bill, known as LD 2094, would invest $50 million into existing agriculture and forestry programs across Maine.
Our businesses are reaching a tipping point of just being unable to invest. Input costs keep rising. Our cost of production on our farms just keeps increasing.
She emphasized that the bond would provide low-interest loans to help farms reinvest in their businesses and remain sustainable.
Our heritage industries of farming and forestry are honestly the backbone of this state, and this landmark investment would be revolutionary for many farms.
Farmers across the state echoed those concerns, pointing to a steady decline in the number of Maine farms.
The first realization I had was that 50% of the farms that were here in 2017 when I left are now gone. Friends, neighbors, all selling out.
According to Penny Jordan, co-owner of Jordan's Farm, Maine has lost more than 500 farms and tens of thousands of acres of farmland in recent years.
In the not too distant future is farms taking farmland out of production in order to sell it for something more profitable.
Supporters say the investment would help modernize operations and keep farms competitive.
We received funding from a similar bill 4 years ago that made all the difference in the world for our farm and gave us real hope for the future.
In Augusta, Alexa Kennedy, ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
The time now is 6:11. Coming up next on Good Morning Maine, a Bangor-based nonprofit announced they received funding to help the city's homeless crisis. We'll hear more coming up.
But first, another check of that weather forecast. A messy start to the day, otherwise a mostly cloudy day ahead with highs near 52 degrees. We can expect some rain and snow showers tonight, lows dropping down to the low 30s. Tomorrow, a mostly sunny and windy Friday ahead with highs near 39. We'll be right back.
This morning on GMA, see for yourself how AI can help you get in shape right in your home.
Act as my personal trainer. Help me build strength.
Easy, free home workouts. Plus, this morning, the Stars of Paradise are here live on Good Morning America.
When the unexpected happens. Really? We'll get you running again. Uninterrupted. Together, we're united. United Ag and Turf, your local John Deere dealer.
RSV can be dangerous for older adults, especially those with certain medical conditions, are elderly or frail or living in a nursing home. The CDC recommends an RSV vaccination for all adults 75 years and older and for adults ages 60 to 74 who are at increased risk of severe RSV disease. If you haven't been vaccinated against RSV, now's a great time to schedule this one-time vaccination. This message brought to you by the Maine CDC, this station, and the Maine Association of Broadcasters.
You're at an open casket funeral. You notice the deceased pants were unzipped. What you gonna do?
I would write a note.
You want him to read it?
Family Feud.
Weekdays at 9 on ABC 7.
A bill that could make it easier for Mainers to repair phones, laptops, and other electronic devices is moving forward at the State House. LD 1908 passed in the Maine Senate and is now heading to the House for consideration. The right to repair legislation is aimed at lowering repair costs and reducing electronic waste by requiring manufacturers to share parts, repair tools, and documentation. Supporters say by giving that information to device owners and independent repair shops, consumers would have more control over what they own. Opponents of the bill have raised concerns about potential threats to security and property rights.
Meanwhile, the Maine DOT is going to begin replacing 3 major overpasses on I-95 in Bangor. Starting on April 6th, they will begin clearing and preparing the median between the northbound and southbound lanes. It's part of a long-term project that involves replacing the 2 I-95 bridges over Stillwater Avenue with a single-span bridge. They say a median crossover utilizing the new northbound alignment will be put into place to maintain traffic during that construction. While some traffic delays will be necessary as the bridge supports are put into place, they say no extended detours will be needed. There will be periodic short-term closures of Stillwater Avenue and exit 186 ramps. The Canduskeg Avenue Bridge will also be replaced with a shorter, higher clearance bridge span. That work is slated to begin in 2027.
Bangor will soon be home to a tiny home village aimed at helping people who are experiencing homelessness. Our Alex Schley has more on what residents can expect.
The Bangor-based nonprofit Dignity First announced Tuesday it received $2 million in congressionally directed spending to fund a tiny home community aimed at helping to address the city's homeless crisis.
Dignity First started in 2019, just looking at what could be done to help with the homelessness situation. Through the process of figuring out what the options were for things to do, it was very clear that housing was necessary.
President of Dignity First, Anna Phillips, says they came across a community first model, which was established by the Texas-based group Mobile Loaves and Fishes. She says the homes start at about 120 square feet, with larger units available for families.
One end for your bedroom, then you're going to have your bathroom, small bathroom, and a little kind of kitchenette.
Phillips says the project has been years in the making. Now that the funding is secured, they're working to reconnect with the city to move the project forward.
And we worked a lot with the city 3-4 years ago to find spaces that would be good for this. We had that all evaluated by engineers and architects, so we have a list.
The plan is to start small and then grow.
Ultimately, we want a couple groups of like 20 homes in a neighborhood, but we're going to start with just a few and get the program started, and then expand from there as we can.
The organization says move-in day is still likely a couple years away, but they hope to have a location locked in by the end of the year. In Bangor, Alex Schley for ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
The time now is 6:17. After the break, a California jury has found YouTube and Meta negligent for designing their platforms to be addictive to children. More on that to come.
Plus, the Environmental Protection Agency approved the sale of E15 blend ethanol to combat surging gasoline prices. We'll explain that coming up on Good Morning Maine.
At Old Town Redemption Center, we are always ready to help with any fundraisers or bottle drives. We are here to help our community. Like and follow us on Facebook for upcoming weekly holiday giveaways and our monthly $100 drawing.
Are you in need of remodeling your bathroom? Want to convert your tub into a safe walk-in shower? Call the experts at Bangor Bathrooms by Design now. They offer complete bathroom remodels, and from start to finish, your satisfaction is guaranteed. Call them now and save thousands. 659-6457. Enjoy that brand new bathroom you've always wanted from Bangor Bathrooms by Design. Transforming bathrooms, elevating lives.
Give your home or business a clean slate. From roofs to carpets, siding to storefronts, we clean it all, inside and out. Locally owned, fully insured, and committed to quality. No job too big or small. Message us on Facebook at Clean Slate Services 207 or call 207-631-0500 for a free estimate. Clean Slate Services. Your property renewed.
At Old Town Redemption Center, we are always ready to help with any fundraisers or bottle drives. We are here to help our community. Like and follow us on Facebook for upcoming weekly holiday giveaways and our monthly $100 drawing.
The EPA temporarily approves the sale of a cheaper, higher blend of ethanol gas as prices continue to surge. The Environmental Protection Agency allowed sale of E15 on Wednesday with hopes it will help lower fuel prices as the war with Iran continues. The higher blend has previously been prohibited in warmer weather due to concerns that it could worsen smog. But summer waivers have become more common, and the blend is already allowed in several states. The E15 blend has received bipartisan support to be sold year-round to help cut costs While most gasoline in the U.S. contains 10% ethanol, E15 contains 15%. But some environmental experts are not convinced the move will sustainably lower costs. Yale University environmental studies professor Kenneth Gillingham says higher levels of ethanol could be a risk to older cars, boats, and all-terrain vehicles. The move could also come with some other costs. Higher ethanol production could mean less corn for animal feed, meaning lower fuel prices could come at the expense of higher grocery bills. Gillingham also warns that higher ethanol use could have significant environmental impacts, which he says could cause serious health issues as well.
Well, the time now is 6:20. Let's get a full look at our forecast with meteorologist Devin Biggs.
Alrighty, Craig and Janessa, thank you very much. Your full weather forecast brought to you by Quality Automotive and Brewer. Experience a Quality Automotive difference. Reliable service and expert care that you can depend on. Call us to schedule your next appointment, 922-2043. Alrighty, here we go. We have a small craft advisory up until 2 o'clock Friday, as we are going to be watching for some active surf that will be occurring until about that time frame, which is 2 o'clock p.m. in the afternoon. As again, wave heights a little bit active at around 4 to 6 feet according to the buoy, so already a little bit on the active side. Not too bad farther out towards sea at around 3 to 5 feet at this moment in time. A little bit of rain and snow opportunities developing this morning, but later on this morning we'll see that taper off, and then we'll be under a mostly cloudy sky for the rest of the day as this energy tracks off to the east, but we will be watching for more energy out of the north and west move in later on tonight. We're seeing some energy off toward the north and west and parts of the Midwest track off towards the east this morning. So again, we'll see this track off to the east. We are going to hold on to the clouds. This will develop and move in later on tonight. Some rain and snow opportunities with that, but Friday looking nice. We'll have some wind, but again, the clouds breaking up to reveal some sunshine, and then by Friday night, not looking too bad at all, just some clouds hanging around, and that's about it. But either way, though, any additional snowfall looking rather minimal at this point, less than a ½ inch in the northern parts of the state, nothing farther down toward the south, but we will all see some rainfall with this, with around 1/4 of an inch or less before we're all finished up. A little bit more in the southeastern parts of the state. So overall for today, here's what we're looking at. Low 50s, rain and snow ending, mostly cloudy, and then a south wind at around 25 miles per hour. Overnight, we'll have some more rain and snow showers moving in, with lows in the low 30s and that north breeze backing off to about 5 miles per hour. But here's tomorrow, upper 30s, mostly sunny, becoming windy again. Northwest wind at about 30 miles per hour. And let's check out your extended forecast brought to you by Quality Automotive and Brewer, showing a mostly sunny sky for your Saturday with highs in the low 30s. Palm Sunday, partly cloudy with highs in the low 40s. Upper 40s Monday with a chance for rain and snow showers.
When it comes to your home, go to the source. Go to R&B's Home Source in Madison. R&B's Home Source has home comfort, convenience, and savings all wrapped up in one location. From the living room to the dining room to the bedroom, we have some of the best values in furniture and bedding. For the kitchen, R&B's Home Source has top-notch appliances from fridges to ranges, even washers and dryers. And sit back and relax with quality electronics. We service everything we sell too. For your home, go to the source. R&B's Home Source, Lakewood Road, Madison.
When Maine winter bites, nothing matters more than keeping your family warm. The solution is simple, a high-efficiency heat pump installed by Valley Home Services. It's the quiet, reliable warmth you need all season long. At Valley Home, we're your elite Fujitsu Air Stage dealer, ensuring expert installation that delivers consistent comfort and maximizes your energy savings. And we make it easy to switch to efficiency heating and qualify for those valuable Efficiency Maine rebates. Stay perfectly warm without the high cost. For a warm, worry-free winter, trust the local experts. Valley Home Services. Winter warmth is waiting. Call us today.
Every year, communities recognize outstanding service with the Spirit of America Foundation Tribute. Do you know a local person or group that goes above and beyond for others? Nominate them today by contacting a select person, city or town councilor. Help honor those who make a difference where you live. For more information, visit spiritofamerica.website.
We got 2 passengers trapped underneath.
Cat. Take 5 brick! Let's get her out! 911 is one of the most ambitious and compelling shows on television.
Thank you for saving her!
This season is its best yet. Put down the knife. 911 tonight on ABC and stream on Hulu.
You're watching ABC 7 Bangor.
There are conflicting claims about talks to end the war with Iran. Iran launched a new round of strikes across the Middle East overnight after insisting no talks are taking place. Iranian leaders rejected a 15-point plan from the U.S. and laid out its own demands. Meanwhile, President Trump is facing bipartisan backlash on Capitol Hill. Even some Republicans are now demanding more answers about the war. Here's ABC's Sophie Flay.
This morning, some Republicans venting their frustration with the Trump administration after a classified briefing on the war in Iran. They claim Pentagon officials would not provide details on when or how ground troops might be used and what the war has cost so far. Our Rachel Scott is on Capitol Hill.
The top Republican on the House Armed Services Committee telling reporters we want to know more about what's going on, what the options are, and why they're being considered, saying we're just not getting enough answers to those questions.
Republican Congresswoman Nancy Mace saying the justifications presented to the American public for the war in Iran were not the same military objectives we were briefed on. The longer this war continues, the faster it will lose the support of Congress and the American people. A new poll shows 34% of voters approve of how President Trump is handling Iran. 59% disapprove. Trump last night insisted Iran is negotiating even after it publicly rejected his 15-point peace proposal.
They want to make a deal so badly.
Central Command says U.S. forces have now hit 10,000 targets in Iran, destroying nearly all of its largest Navy ships.
We've damaged or destroyed over 2/3 of Iran's missile, drone, and naval production facilities and shipyards, and we're not done yet.
But Iran says the Strait of Hormuz, the key shipping route for oil and gas, remains closed to enemy ships, fueling growing concern about long-term prices. The Postal Service, for the first time, now plans to impose an 8% fuel surcharge on packages, possibly beginning next month. Diesel prices are up 40% since the war began. Some truckers, delivering everything from lumber to machinery to gardening supplies, are now charging up to 40 cents more per mile. One analyst calls it an off-the-charts increase. Sophie Flay, ABC News, New York.
Meanwhile, former Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro is due in court today as he seeks to have his drug trafficking indictment thrown out over geopolitical legal fee disputes. Maduro's lawyer contends the U.S. is violating the deposed leader's constitutional rights by blocking Venezuelan government funds from being used to pay his legal costs. It's the first time Maduro and his wife will be in court since the January arraignment, where he protested their capture by U.S. military forces. His wife also pleaded not guilty. The ex-president has slowly been erased from President Delcy Rodriguez's government, even as the ruling party has remained the same. With Rodriguez now in charge, Venezuela has reestablished diplomatic relations with the U.S., and the U.S. has eased economic sanctions on Venezuela's crucial oil industry.
This morning, families traveling for spring break are facing long wait times at some of the nation's busiest airports as TSA workers go another week without a paycheck. Right now, Congress does not appear to be any closer to making a deal to end the partial government shutdown. ABC's Nicole D'Antonio is in Washington with more.
From Houston to Atlanta and JFK, this morning, TSA workers calling out of work in record numbers and triggering these long lines at airports across the country amid a partial government shutdown. The acting head of the TSA calling the current situation unprecedented.
This has led to the highest wait times in TSA history, with some wait times greater than 4.5 hours. We are being forced to consolidate lanes and may have to close smaller airports if we do not have enough officers.
More than 3,100 TSA officers called out sick Wednesday. Another almost 460 employees have quit altogether since the shutdown began, according to the Department of Homeland Security. On Capitol Hill, lawmakers still at a standstill, Republicans offering to fully fund all DHS agencies except immigration enforcement. but Democrats again insisting on specific reforms to immigration operations, including barring ICE agents from wearing masks and requiring warrants before they can enter private homes. Democrats say they've tried to fund the TSA while they negotiate ICE, but each time the GOP has rejected their offers. About 50,000 TSA officers have gone nearly a month without pay. For some, this is their second government shutdown since October. Some employees are now relying on food banks in order to put food on the table.
It's heartbreaking to know that people can't afford to put gas in their car to come to a job that is supposed to pay them.
And the backlog comes amid the spring break travel rush. Airlines expecting to fly 2.8 million passengers every day through April 30th. Nicole D'Antonio, ABC News, Washington.
Well, it's a reckoning for social media companies. For the second straight day, a guilty verdict in a case of child safety online. Here's ABC's Sophie Flay once again.
Big Tech, your gig is over. Yep.
This morning, a California jury has found YouTube and Meta, the parent company of Facebook and Instagram, negligent for harming children by designing their platforms to be addictive and for failing to warn them about the dangers.
There are so many families who've been tragically hurt through the addiction of social media. And we've sent a message with this that you will be held accountable for the features.
At the center of the case, 20-year-old Kaylee, who says she started using social media at age 6. She claims it led to depression, anxiety, and body image issues. During the trial, CEO Mark Zuckerberg defended safety features, but said Meta has acknowledged for a while that people get around the age restrictions. The jury awarded Kaylee $6 million, including $3 million in punitive damages. Her legal team was seeking more than $1 billion. Parents who say they lost children from the harmful effects of social media gathered over a phone, awaiting the verdict. Lori Schott says her daughter died by suicide after social media triggered her body image issues.
If it was not for these trial lawyers to get us to this place in time, we would not have this opportunity today to show the world the harms that Big Tech knew they were doing.
Both Meta and YouTube plan to appeal. Meta saying teen mental health is profoundly complex and cannot be linked to a single app. While YouTube's owner Google says this case misunderstands YouTube, which is a responsibly built streaming platform, not a social media site. The verdict could influence more than 1,500 other cases that raise similar claims against social media platforms. Sophie Flay, ABC News, New York.
Well, coming up on the second half of the newscast, a turtle research center in Florida has new tracking technology.
You know we love the animal stories here. We'll have that one and more coming up.
Brandywine Graphics makes it easy. We are the top source for screen printing, embroidery, branded merchandise, and direct-to-garment printing. With decades of experience, state-of-the-art equipment, and a commitment to excellence, why trust your apparel products with anyone else? And now, Brandywine Graphics can easily launch online stores for your school or organization. Simply design your products from brands like Eddie Bauer, Carhartt, and more. Share the link and we'll do the rest. Like we said, Brandywine Graphics makes it easy. Find out more at brandywinegraphics.com or at our Hamden location.
Peter Pan here. You know, I thought growing up would be the worst. Bills, responsibility, pants. But then I found a way to hack adulthood. It's called AAA. Grown-up perks, zero grown-up stress. Woo! Insurance and roadside assistance? Hey, yep. It's cool. I've got AAA. And don't forget, epic discounts on dining and travel. With AAA, it pays to be a member. A little more whipped cream, please? Yeah.
Who has the best kept secret in Penobscot County?
We do!
Welcome to Maple Lane Farms, a fifth-generation family farm that's committed to providing you with the best quality products. Our farm-raised local and sustainable meat is flash frozen to lock in the freshness and natural flavors. Experience the top-notch quality of our meat that's naturally raised without any antibiotics or hormones. Get the best of both worlds, quality and affordability. Try Maple Lane Farms today, the candy store for the carnivore.
Need a safe and caring place for your loved one during the day? At the Merchant Center Adult Day program, we provide a supportive environment where adults can enjoy companionship, engaging activities, and personalized care in a setting that feels like home. Our experienced staff is committed to meeting each person's unique needs while promoting independence, dignity, and overall well-being. Families can feel confident knowing their loved ones are in compassionate, capable hands.
You're watching ABC 7 Bangor.
Welcome back, everyone. Today is Thursday, March 26th, 2026. And this one, we haven't done this one before, but I like the idea of it.
I do too.
This is also Make Up Your Own Holiday Day.
There are many holidays throughout the year, but this is a time we can celebrate one of our own that we choose. Whether it's something noble like only using recycled paper or something random like eating only purple food, this day is full of endless possibilities. This is a day to make up a personalized holiday that's something close to your heart.
I like the idea of that.
Yeah, we were trying to brainstorm, and we're kind of just talking about cats all morning.
Right.
So I'm like, National Give Your Cat a Snuggle Day.
Right.
That's mine.
You call your boss, say, I can't come in today.
Yeah.
It's National Snuggle Your Cat Day.
Or, you know, National Call Out of Work Day.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, you create your own holiday.
Yes.
Today. All right, it's time for some history. It was on this day back in 1872, the fire extinguisher was patented by Thomas J. Martin. 1917, the Seattle Metropolitans became the first American ice hockey team to win the Stanley Cup. I don't think they are a thing anymore.
No.
But they were one of the
Very
beginnings.
cool.
1945, fighting came to an end on Iwo Jima during World War II. And in 1953 on this date, American medical researcher Dr. Jonas Salk announced he had successfully tested a vaccine against the virus that causes polio. There had been 58,000 new cases and 3,000 deaths caused by the disease the previous year. And thanks to his breakthrough, polio is now considered eliminated in the U.S. thanks to the widespread vaccination program.
And in 1979, a peace treaty was signed by the leaders of Egypt and Israel and was witnessed by President Jimmy Carter at the White House, an accord that brought an end of decades to war. And in 1982, groundbreaking ceremonies were held in Washington, D.C. for the Vietnam Veterans Memorial. In 1992, a judge in Indianapolis sentenced former heavyweight boxing champion Mike Tyson to 6 years in prison on rape charges. He was released after serving less than 3 years. And in 2013, Italy's top criminal overturned the acquittal of American Amanda Knox in the murder of her roommate. Knox was ordered to stand trial again, but the resulting conviction was later overturned by the Italian Supreme Court.
She is now an author.
Yes.
And has moved on with her life. All right, today's birthdays include actress Keira Knightley, who is 41 today. Actress Leslie Mann is 54. And iconic singer Diana Ross is 82 years old today. Happy birthday to you also, if your birthday is today.
We'll turn things right back over to meteorologist Devin Biggs.
And thank you very much, Craig and Janessa. Happy Thursday. Your first weather forecast brought to you by Quality Automotive and Brewer. Experience the Quality Automotive difference. Reliable service and expert care that you can depend on. Call us to schedule your next appointment, 922-2043. Alrighty, let's get into things this morning. We have a small craft advisory that is up until Friday at around 2 p.m. along the coast. We are forecasting more active surf as we do move forward in time. In the meantime, we do have some rain and snow showers that have been developing this morning. We will see a transition over to some more rain as some warmer air moves in. The rain and snow will be tapering off later on this morning. As we do zoom things out, there's some more energy tracking in our direction. But again, later on, we will see the precipitation tapering off. Some more will be moving in later on tonight. So here's Futurecast. Again, we'll catch a break later on today, but notice later on this evening, some more rain and snow will be en route. But look at Friday, a nice day will be on the way. Notice we will have some more wind today, up to around 15, 20 miles per hour or so, but it will be picking up, not so much tonight, but tomorrow, up to around 25 to 30 miles per hour. So hourly forecast for today, we'll have the clouds out there with the rain and snow chances tapering off. Temperatures in the 50s. Your full 5-day forecast is coming up. Craig and Janessa.
Thank you, Devin. Now for the latest on what's happening in Hollywood.
Here's ABC's Jacqueline Lee.
The next time I see you will be in Hogwarts.
We're
we're getting our first look at HBO's upcoming Harry Potter series. Season 1 of Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone retells the story of the first J.K. Rowling novel over the course of 8 episodes about the young wizard's first year at Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry. It hits HBO Max this December.
I take this step for my country.
Apple is out with its first teaser trailer for Star City, a spin-off to the streamer's long-running sci-fi series For All of Mankind. That show imagines an alternate history where the Soviet Union won the space race, depicted from the Americans' perspective. Star City tells the story from the Soviet perspective and lands on Apple TV on May 29th. I'm missing you. And happy birthday to Diana Ross, the former lead singer of the Supremes, dubbed the Queen of Motown, who won a Lifetime Achievement Grammy in 2012, is 82 today. That's what's happening in Hollywood. Jacqueline Lee, ABC News.
Still to come here this morning, Jack Webb with sports.
Don't go away.
Napa knows every driver deserves quality parts. With 30 locations in Maine, Maine's largest network of parts has everything you need to keep your vehicle and equipment running smoothly. Starting now through March 29th, save big during our Napa Gold Filter Sale. From oil, air, and fuel to light and heavy-duty filters, every Napa Gold filter is up to 60% off. Find the filter that fits your needs and get to the moments that matter most. Coastal Auto Parts is owned and operated by a Maine family that cares.
When Maine winter bites, nothing matters more than keeping your family warm. The solution is simple, a high-efficiency heat pump installed by Valley Home Services. It's the quiet, reliable warmth you need all season long. At Valley Home, we're your elite Fujitsu air stage dealer, ensuring expert installation that delivers consistent comfort and maximizes your energy savings. And we make it easy to switch to efficiency heating and qualify for those valuable Efficiency Maine rebates. Stay perfectly warm without the high cost. For a warm, worry-free winter, trust the local experts. Valley Home Services. Winter warmth is waiting. Call us today.
Roto-Rooter has served the greater Bangor area and beyond for 35 years, offering plumbing, hydrojetting, snaking, descaling, video inspection, and grease interceptor cleaning services. For all your residential and commercial clogs, call Roto-Rooter today, 990-1234.
And away go troubles down the drain. Roto-Rooter.
ABC 7 and Fox 22's Jack Webb named Maine's Sportscaster of the Year by the National Sports Media Association.
Welcome back, folks. We'll start in Orono with some massive news from Maine men's hockey as the roster continues to shake out for next season. Star forward Josh Nadeau will not return to Alphon Arena next winter. He signed a pro contract with the Montreal Canadiens AHL affiliate Rocket Laval. Nadeau recorded 17 goals and 13 assists this past season, 45 goals with 59 assists over his 3-year career with the Black Bears. That marks the end of the Nadeau brother era in Orono. One Maine Black Bear fans will hold extremely close to their heart. We'll transition to the Diamond now, where every Little Leaguer's dream is to stand on the foul line in an MLB ballpark on opening day, listening to the national anthem and realizing you have made it. That's what Brewers' Matt Pouchard gets to experience on Thursday. Last Saturday, Brewers' Matt Pouchard had the conversation every baseball player dreams of. He was told he'll be in St. Louis on Thursday as part of the Cardinals' opening day roster.
So Saturday before the game, we were playing the Marlins, and Ollie, my head coach, and then pitching coach, and then Chaim Bloom pulled me in and gave me the news. So I was very excited. Called my wife. Yeah, I called her. It was a very surreal moment. She's been there with me through the ups and downs, and I just couldn't wait to call her and tell her.
The ups and downs Pouchard speaks of is signing as an undrafted free agent in July of 2022 with the Miami Marlins, then spending 3.5 seasons battling in the minor leagues, trying to take advantage of every opportunity.
Yeah, it hasn't been easy. I mean, I was a free agent sign, like you said. Obviously, I had to take advantage of the opportunities that was given to me. I wasn't like a first, second, third, fourth rounder, so I didn't have many opportunities if I were to get behind the 8 ball. So I knew that every opportunity I had to take advantage of.
After Thursday, the Brewer native will officially be a big leaguer. He's hoping it's a learning lesson to young Mainers that your location doesn't define you.
It means the world. I mean, you hear a lot from Northeast kids that there's a select few that actually get the opportunity just because we don't get to play year round. And you see it right now with Cooper Flag, like putting Maine on the state, like putting Maine out there. And I hope to do the same. It just shows that good athletes can come out of the state of Maine. So it's really cool. I hope to make Maine proud.
As Pouchard toes the foul line during the national anthem on opening day, he'll be thinking of all the moments that got him there.
I'm not gonna lie, it's gonna be a lot of memories. It's I remember being outside and at my parents' house, and just it'd be either if it was the snow and having to hit away and hitting around the basketball hoop, having that thing wrap it around, and just all the memories of Little League, middle school, high school, and even in college. Just you have all those little tiny memories of like playing wiffle ball, and you think that, oh, it's the bottom of the ninth, 3-2 count, bases loaded, and then you hit the little walk off. You pretend you're doing like you're on TV, and it's gonna be really cool. I'm sure there's gonna be a lot of emotions to try to withhold and try to keep in, but it's gonna be awesome.
The Cardinals host the Rays on Thursday at 4:15. Well, it's not just him. Wednesday was opening day for the MLB, and 2 former Maine Black Bears have clinched roster spots in the big leagues to open the 2026 season. Both Cody Lawyerson and Matt Pouchard, who was just named, have been named to opening day rosters. Lawyerson will suit up for the Minnesota Twins, Pouchard for those St. Louis Cardinals. Lawyerson was drafted in the 14th round of the 2019 MLB draft. Pouchard was undrafted as a free agent and signed with the Cardinals in 2022. Both played under Maine head coach Nick Durba, who says he is incredibly proud of how far they've come.
I'm probably behind their parents. I'm probably the 3rd happiest person, right? So they're, mom and dad, and then there's me. I can't be more thankful, more appreciative of their time here. But those guys deserve everything they get.
Lawyerson and Pouchard are just 2 of the 3 former Black Bears to be placed on an active MLB roster. The third is Astros All-Star Jeremy Pena, who won the World Series in 2022 and was a series MVP. Durba expressed not only how great it is to have 3 former players in the big leagues, but also how rare it is.
I mean, there's not too many programs that have 3 in their history. Nonetheless, 3 at current standing, and for me personally, it's just really exciting, to see those guys go out there and live in a real dream.
Now we shift our focus to the NHL as the regular season is coming to an end. The Boston Bruins played an extremely important game against the red-hot Buffalo Sabres on Wednesday night. Following the Bruins' tough loss to Toronto on Tuesday, Boston holds the top wildcard spot in the Eastern Conference by just 1 point going into Wednesday, with the Senators getting the tiebreaker for the 2nd spot over the Islanders. Every point counts this late in the season, and especially in such a competitive Eastern Conference. Boston is also playing their 2nd game of a back-to-back. Saw Joonas Korpisalo in net to give Swayman a break after Tuesday's loss. Points are at a premium right now, so every game from here on out matters more and more. Let's check out that score from the game. We also have the Celtics score for you. The Bruins won it in overtime by a score of 4-3, and the Celtics getting it done in a potential NBA Finals preview, 119-109 over the Oklahoma City Thunder. Some big-time results down in Boston on Wednesday night. For now, that's all the time we have for sports. We'll be right back after.
See the brand new Hyundai Tucson out there?
Yeah.
I only paid...
Enjoy your new car. Yeah, you too.
It's a Hyundai Getaway Sales Event. Lease an all-wheel drive Hyundai Tucson SE for $209 a month, or get 0% APR plus 0 payments for 90 days. Hurry in.
Jamar Construction Products in Bangor continues to grow to meet our customers' needs, supplying products for site work contractors, concrete contractors, and survey and safety supplies. We are proud to be the local dealer for Hilti, Valley Blades, U.S. Fabrics, and Euclid Chemical, plus so much more. Stop by and see us at 1270 Hammond Street, or give us a call at 907-4491. If you dig it, pour it, plow it, fasten it, lay it, or lift it, Jamar Construction Products can help you.
Last season on Jeopardy!
How is anybody ever going to beat this guy?
A shocking end to a streak for the ages.
I did not expect to win.
Now the stage is set. Who will step in and light it up? New players.
It is very fun.
Bigger stakes.
I'm excited already.
And a chance to shine.
What a great competition.
The all-new season of Jeopardy!
Yes, finally.
See that brand new Hyundai Santa Fe?
Yeah.
I only paid.
Finish this bucket on your own.
Enjoy your new car.
Hyundai Getaway Sales Event. Right now, lease a Hyundai Elantra SE for $89 a month or get 0.99% APR for 60 months. Hurry in.
Welcome back, everyone. Chicago's mayor reveals an Abolish ICE snowplow as the winner of the annual naming contest. Mayor Brandon Johnson was outside a Chicago salt storage facility on Wednesday. Johnson says the name represents the values of the city and its people.
I'm proud to unveil the logo design for Abolish ICE, one of the 6 snowplows named by Chicagoans this year. This name derives from our city's legacy of standing up for justice, dignity, and the rights of all people, no matter where they come from. I want to take this moment to reiterate that Chicago does not want ICE on our streets, in our airports, nor in our city. Chicago believes in abolishing ICE. Hold on, I want to get a chance to marvel myself. Perfect.
And around 13,000 entries were submitted for this year's contest.
Ended up getting a little political, I'd say.
Yeah, I would say so too.
Yeah.
Well, now here's meteorologist Devin Biggs with our full weather forecast.
Alrighty, Craig and Janessa, thank you very much. Your full weather forecast brought to you by Quality Automotive and Brewer. Experience a Quality Automotive difference. Reliable service and expert care that you can depend on. Call us to schedule your next appointment, 922-2043. Alrighty, here we go. We have a small craft advisory up until 2 o'clock Friday, as we are going to be watching for some active surf that will be occurring until about that time frame, which is 2 o'clock p.m. in the afternoon. As again, wave heights a little bit active at around 4 to 6 feet according to the buoy, so already a little bit on the active side. Not too bad farther out towards sea at around 3 to 5 feet at this moment in time. A little bit of rain and snow opportunities developing this morning, but later on this morning we'll see that taper off, and then we'll be under a mostly cloudy sky for the rest of the day as this energy tracks off to the east, but we will be watching for more energy out of the north and west move in later on tonight. We're seeing some energy off toward the north and west and parts of the Midwest track off towards the east this morning. So again, we'll see this track off to the east. We are going to hold on to the clouds. This will develop and move in later on tonight. Some rain and snow opportunities with that, but Friday looking nice. We'll have some wind, but again, the clouds breaking up to reveal some sunshine, and then by Friday night, not looking too bad at all, just some clouds hanging around, and that's about it. But either way, though, any additional snowfall looking rather minimal at this point, less than a ½ inch in the northern parts of the state, nothing farther down toward the south, but we will all see some rainfall with this, with around 1/4 of an inch or less before we're all finished up. A little bit more in the southeastern parts of the state. So overall for today, here's what we're looking at. Low 50s, rain and snow ending, mostly cloudy, and then a south wind at around 25 miles per hour. Overnight, we'll have some more rain and snow showers moving in, with lows in the low 30s and that north breeze backing off to about 5 miles per hour. But here's tomorrow, upper 30s, mostly sunny, becoming windy again. Northwest wind at about 30 miles per hour. And let's check out your extended forecast, brought to you by Quality Automotive and Brewer, showing a mostly sunny sky for your Saturday with highs in the low 30s. Palm Sunday, partly cloudy with highs in the low 40s. Upper 40s Monday with a chance for rain and snow showers.
Brandywine Graphics makes it easy. We are the top source for screen printing, embroidery, branded merchandise, and direct-to-garment printing. With decades of experience, state-of-the-art equipment, and a commitment to excellence, why trust your apparel products with anyone else? And now, Brandywine Graphics can easily launch online stores for your school or organization. Simply design your products from brands like Eddie Bauer, Carhartt, and more. Share the link and we'll do the rest. Like we said, Brandywine Graphics makes it easy. Find out more at brandywinegraphics.com or at our Hamden location. Are you in need of remodeling your bathroom? Want to convert your tub into a safe walk-in shower? Call the experts at Bangor Bathrooms by Design now. They offer complete bathroom remodels, and from start to finish, your satisfaction is guaranteed. Call them now and save thousands. 659-6457. Enjoy that brand new bathroom you've always wanted from Bangor Bathrooms by Design. Transforming bathrooms, elevating lives.
Foggy's Pub, your place for fun, food, and friends in Palmyra, Maine.
I was betrayed. What happens when the person you love turns out not to be who you think they are? My marriage ended with a 911 call.
The tape is blood-curdling.
This is Betrayal. Premieres Sunday on ABC and stream on Disney Plus and Hulu.
I checked my rearview mirror and I checked my side mirror and I saw nobody was in that lane.
That's it? Rear view and side mirror? Did you check your blind spot?
Hot Bench. Thursday at 3 on ABC 7.
If you love science, then there's an event that kicked off yesterday that you'll want to be aware of. The Maine Science Festival started and runs until March 29th. The 5-day festival is packed full of dozens of events and activities like 5-minute genius science on tap and MSF trivia. There are also numerous exhibits and workshops. The various events are held at multiple venues all around Bangor, including the Cross Insurance Center. For more information, you can head to the mainsciencefestival.org.
Sounds like a fun time. And a Florida sea turtle hospital is getting help from space to monitor the animals that they've been rehabilitating. They are particularly interested in tracking their amputee turtles using satellite tracking devices in collaboration with the Smithsonian Conservation Biology Institute. The Loggerhead Marine Life Center released turtle Emil on Wednesday. The Kemp's Ridley turtle lost her right forelimb, probably due to a shark bite. The center staff glued a tracking tag to her shell before returning her to the Atlantic Ocean. They also used ultrasound to see if she's developing eggs. Emil is the 4th turtle tracked by the center, and another turtle has traveled nearly 700 miles since being released in January.
GPS is letting us do some amazing things.
It really is. Yeah. Well, that's all the time that we have left for this hour, but you can join us for the second hour of Good Morning Maine. That's next on Fox 22.
Later on, we'll meet our Pet of the Week, too. We'll look forward to that. Thanks for being there, everyone. We hope you have a great day.
If you're a licensed technician and ready to get back
for too many times, tired of being customer 45978? Yeah, we would be too. Speed means fast uploads, no lag, and zero buffering. But it also means calling you back, showing up on time, and treating you like a person, not a problem. So whether you're working, streaming, gaming, or all three, it is time to make the switch to a provider that actually tries. Go NetSpeed. Service isn't dead. It just moved local.
At the County Federal Credit Union, we value the trust our members place in us to act in their best interest. Whether it's providing low rates on consumer loans or raising money to end hunger, we work hard to serve our members and the communities in which they live. We are excited to bring the meaningful and impactful work we do to all Mainers as we continue to grow. Wherever you are in life's journey, count on the county to be your financial partner.
Ready to create your backyard oasis? Alexander's Professional Landscaping will work with you to create your perfect outdoor space. Work one-on-one with our landscape designer to create a unique garden to fit your family's personal aesthetics and lifestyle. have our pros install your new lawn, garden, or patio. Schedule a consultation today by calling 573-4497. Alexander's Professional Landscaping, the way landscaping should be.
Think you're good at trivia? Arrange these holidays, these historic firsts, these animals. By the way,
I have no idea.
congratulations! You have built the perfect line! I'm Deborah Norville, and this is the perfect line.
Onion rings before, in between onion rings and pizza.
Definitely after. Oh,
This is what happy looks like.
Weekdays at 10 on Fox 22.
Good Morning Maine on WFVX, Fox 22. From the Great North Woods to the Rockbound Coast and streaming live in HD worldwide at foxbangor.com. More people choose Good Morning Maine.
Hello everyone. Today on Good Morning Maine, new details have emerged following the sudden passing of the Skowhegan town manager. We'll have the details coming up.
Plus, nurses at Northern Light Eastern Maine Medical Center celebrated the end of their contract negotiations. We'll have that story ahead as well.
And supporters at the State House celebrated Agricultural Day, which aims to strengthen Maine's farming industry. Good morning and welcome to Good Morning Maine. I'm Janessa Bishop.
And I'm Craig Colson. Thank you for joining us. We'll have those stories and more coming up. But first, to check of that forecast, kind of a mixed bag this morning here in the Bangor area. It's been mostly rain this morning.
It has.
Other areas, as you head up towards maybe the Dover-Foxcroft area, up near Lincoln, well, they've received a little bit of snow, making some icy conditions on the roadway. That's all expected